Okay, in order to explore some of the principles of animation, we need some models, and we're going to make a rocket ship to explore the principles of animation. Now, I just installed Maya Fresh, and hopefully this is probably what your Maya looks like, so we're going to make a couple of changes just for clarity. The first that I want to do is I want to open the outliner. So over here where we have our toolbar, if we keep going all the way down, we have this little graph hierarchy here. I'm going to click that button and that's going to open the outliner. The next thing I want to do is I want to change the background to something that's not gray, because the model we're going to be working on by default is gray. So if I press Alt B, it's going to cycle through a couple of options. I'll just go through all of them. So those are all our options. You can obviously set up your own background colors if you want. But I'm going to just leave it at this. I think this nice little gradient is going to give us the most amount of clarity. The other thing I want to do is I want to change from the modeling toolkit to the channel box layer editor. So I'm going to click onto that. So to get started modeling a rocket, we're going to build it up from basic primitive models that are already existing. So over here on the poly modeling shelf, we're going to select the sphere, and it's going to draw a sphere in the scene for us. Now I'm going to stretch this out, make it nice and long so that it could be a rocket body. I'm going to move it up a little bit higher. And I'm going to give it some more geometry, because if I get close into it, you can see it's very faceted. So I'm going to select the polysphere input over in the channel box. Not the shape, right? We don't want I don't want the shape. I want the polysphere input. And where it says subdivisions height, I'm going to just click that and select it. And then I'm going to put my cursor into the 3D viewport. And then holding the middle mouse button, I'm going to drag to the right. And that adds more subdivisions. I went ahead and maxed it out to 50. And that's fine. 50 is fine for now. So the next thing we're going to do is start to shape this. So I'm going to want to select some vertices. Now, if I just pull some vertices up like this, we get something, I mean, that could be the start of a rocket body, but there's a lot of space between edges here. So there's this big flat space. We don't want that. We want a smooth transition of the points as the rocket body changes shape. So I'm going to select this top point, and then I'm going to press the B key, and that will put me into soft select. And what soft select does is it moves the points with a fall off. So even though I'm only selecting one point, it's moving many points. Now I can change the radius of this as well. So I'm going to go back to this top point here. Select it. If I press and hold B and then drag to the left and right, I get an interactive tool to select the radius, moving it up and down just like this. So I'm going to move it quite a bit like that. And switch to scale by pressing R. And I'm going to move up, scale it up a little bit like that. That makes it have a little bit of a point. And then I'm going to select a row of points here. So I'm going to press Q, select one point, hold Shift, select its neighbor, and double click. It will select the entire row. Press R to get back to scale. Just give it a little bit of volume there. Alright, so it's a little more pointy. That will be the start for our rocket body.